Uncle Tim's. It's all good.
Hey, welcome to Wednesday's Word with Uncle Tim. I'm Uncle Tim, and it's been a little while, but I'm back. I have a little story I wanted to tell you. It's something that I just read the other day. So there was a ruler of this country, and her name was Deborah, and she called the leader of the army, and his name was Barak, and she said, "Hey, Barak, you need to go out and fight against our enemies and defeat them." And Barak said, "Okay, I'll do it, but only if you come with us. I don't want to go out there without you." So Deborah said, "Okay, I'll do that, but just know that now, because I'm going with you, you'll get no glory for winning this battle. The glory will go to a woman." So Barak, apparently he was okay with that, and so off he went to go to war, and Deborah went with him, and he was fighting against the other army, and the leader of that army, his name was Sisera. And so Barak's army was overcoming Sisera's army and defeating them, and Sisera took off. He fled. He went running off to hide, and he came to an encampment, and a woman from that encampment saw him coming and went out to meet him, and her name was Jael, or Jael, something along those lines. Anyhow, she met him and said, "Hey, come aside here and hide in my tent, and I'll hide you here." So Sisera went and hid in her tent, and she put some blankets or some rugs over him to cover him up, and then she waited until he was, I'm guessing he probably fell asleep from exhaustion from fighting in the battle and then running away. So Jael waited, and then when she knew he was not going to be able to fight back, she took a tent peg or a tent stake, and she pounded it right through his temple and into the ground and killed him. And then she went out and let it be known that he had been killed. And so because of that, they ended up, Barak's army ended up defeating the other army, and they won that war and took over the country. But Barak did not get any glory for it at all. I mean, not all, but Jael got the glory because she's the one who killed the commander of the army. So anyhow, it's not necessarily anything specific, that I just thought it was kind of an interesting story, and there's all kinds of other stories. It's in a little book called the Bible. And then, I'm sure most everybody's heard of the Bible, and probably a lot of people these days, most of the things that they know about the Bible are about the New Testament. But there are a lot of super interesting and amazing stories throughout the entire Bible, including the Old Testament. And that story I just told you is found in Judges, and there's some other very interesting stories in there, like one about a man. He went and killed a king. It was a big fat king, and he was so fat that the guy, when he killed him, he stabbed him with a sword, and the fat just swallowed up the sword, just disappeared into his fat. That's how fat this guy was. Anyhow, so I just wanted to put that out there, let people know that there are some really interesting stories in the Bible, including in the Old Testament, some of the most amazing stories you'll ever read. And the more amazing thing about it is that they're all true. These are not just fairy tales or made up stories like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or the Chronicles of Narnia, or stories along that line that are made up fantasy. These are true stories that actually happen. So if you get a chance, well, you shouldn't wait till you get a chance. You should go make a chance and read the Bible. Read from cover to cover. There are some parts that are kind of dry, a little bit hard to get through, like Numbers and Leviticus, but there are other parts that are, like in Judges, they just have some amazing stories. In the Kings, 1st, 2nd Kings, Chronicles, there are just stories that you really can hardly believe it, but they are actually true stories. So go make a chance, read the Bible cover to cover. You'll be glad you did. Thanks. See ya.